As a journalist, Jenn Smith is used to exploring for her work. But last year, she was awarded the chance to explore a part of her personal history. Smith, who calls Western Massachusetts home, was born in India and adopted from an orphanage in Kolkata. The winner of Atlas Obscura's first Journey essay contest, Smith set out on a 10-week journey across her native India, experiencing the country through its festivals. Where did she get the idea for that itinerary? Here's what she said.
In my thought process, you always think festivals and holidays are a great chance to see culture and tradition on display. And it's also really a time where people tend to put aside their petty differences, their bad moods, and you just want to kick back and relax and, you know, celebrate whatever you're setting to celebrate. So I just thought that would make a great opportunity. And it's so much work goes into so many of the festivals they have. A lot of them are actually, even though they're quite public displays, they also are sacred. They're celebrating gods and goddesses. So it's a really opportunity. It's like, why, you can't miss these things.
So you were born in India, but raised here in the States by your mom, Cheryl.
Yes.
When you were a child, when did you first think that I want to travel to Kolkata, I want to see the orphanage that I was adopted from?
I think I was really lucky that my mom was always open and honest with me about where I was from. And I think knowing that, you're always curious as a journalist, you're ever the more curious. And so it was just a matter of time and money. And so we get older, life gets busy, because people say, wow, you waited so long. And yeah, life happens. And then I was really excited to be afforded this opportunity. But I always wanted to know. It's just, you wonder about your roots. And I had the address of the orphanage I was raised in for my first few weeks of life and was able to look it up. So I began formulating ideas, but to see it in its contemporary existence was something that I'd always just wanted to experience.
You're 37 years young now. Do you have any memories of that time, the few weeks that you mentioned in the orphanage?
No. I had few little information. I just had basically an address, so I was technically born in a nursing home and then raised in the International Mission of Hope Society Orphanage in Kolkata, which has since been closed. And so it's no longer a functioning orphanage, but the building structure still existed. So that was a big part of my itinerary as well.
Yeah, and when you got there and you were standing in front of that structure, what were you thinking? I mean, you spent a long time thinking about that moment.
It was something I actually procrastinated. It wasn't until my very last day in full day in Kolkata that I decided, okay, I need to do this. I think, there's a lot of emotion that's attached to it. And, I also had a great warm welcome. I met so many wonderful people while I was in Kolkata. But, I decided I got in an Uber, because that's a thing there, and took the cab down to that neighborhood, and I had a chance to walk from the main road down partway through the street by myself, and I wanted to experience the neighborhood and take it in. And so when I got there, the building is actually now a school for nurses. So there's a big iron gate in the front of it, but I'd seen a photo of the exterior before, so I knew that there was a particular arch and a particular color, so I knew I was in the right place. Anyways, so there was a big iron gate. I knocked on the gate, and it sort of felt like a Wizard of Oz moment where the guy opens the little window to peek out, and I sort of wave. I don't speak fluent Bangla or Bengali, which is the common language there. I also know, Thoda Hindi now. But, we were able to communicate, and I said, this used to be the orphanage. I was born here. Can I come take a peek? And he was very gracious, and he opened the gate, and I asked if I could take a few pictures, and he let me, explore the courtyard for a few moments, and he was kind enough to take, my photo, so I didn't have to take a selfie there. But it was something I did feel connected to, and knew that so many children had their first days there as well, and people that I now know.
You chose while you were traveling to stay with home visits. Why did you pick a homestay as opposed to staying in a hotel while you're traveling on your own?
Growing up in a small town, I think I've always enjoyed being able to have that sort of homey, like know your neighbors environment. And in a hotel, especially international hotels, it's really easy to just get used to and experience, Western comforts. And I really wanted to dive in and to be into neighborhoods that I had never seen before, but really wanted to know. And then hopefully, the idea was if I am staying with a family, especially as a solo female traveler, I was really particular in looking at places that were either female run or family run. And I found nothing but warm welcomes. I got to eat with families. I got, escorted around different places. I felt really looked after and taken care of. And I had just great recommendations was also a real benefit of doing homestays. And I also used the couch surfing app, which is something I had also never done, and ended up staying with a great family who I thought I was only going to stay with for a day or two, and ended up staying for a week and then going back to visit them. That was in Jaipur. There are just so many warm, welcome people eager to host travelers out there.
You visited lots of different festivals that populated the trip. That's how you got from place to place. Yeah. I know this is a difficult question, but is there any one piece of the festivals that really stands out to you where you learned something that you're just going to keep with you for a long time?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you look at travel blogs and things, you'll see the bigness and the spectacle of these festivals. The Ganpati festival or the Ganesha, that is the elephant-headed god, and there are these big processions at the end of this multi-day festival where they immerse the idols into bodies of water, whether it's the ocean or something like that. And so obviously that's just a stunning celebration. Durga Puja is another goddess that they celebrate, the goddess Durga, and they create these elaborate pop-up, what they call pandals, that sometimes change and alter the entire streetscape. You could be driving down the road and the poor taxi drivers will throw their hands up in the air because there's a giant pandal in the way. But at the same time, it's about family and home and gathering, and there's a lot of prayers that are done not only on these festival days, which are considered auspicious, but just in the home, this reverence, this devotion that people have, which is something we don't see as commonplace so much here in the West. And that was something that was really meaningful to me, and just to see how it brought families together, and even on a small scale, was something that stuck with me. And there are other experiences, things that I thought were going to be amazing and then sometimes jarring too. Because festivals also attract large amounts of people. So I had a moment where I had intentionally separated myself from friends. And during the festival of Onam, there's a tradition called Pulikali in Thrissur, which is the north of Kerala. And it's really cool if you, it translates to tiger play. So you have all these dance teams that it's prominently male, and they are full body painted like tigers. And so everyone wants to see them. And what happened was, so dancers were proceeding, there's a crowd of people going one way, and then a bunch of people rushing up from behind to try to take photos and video. I also didn't realize it was a very drunken festival too. So I got caught up in the crush and was suddenly a lone female surrounded by a lot of men. And so unfortunately, my backside got groped pretty intensely, but I was pretty fine. I had to kind of fight my way out of the situation, not like a brutal altercation, but I had to raise my voice and say stop. And the crowd parted, and I was able to get back to where my friends were. But it was something that was, that's the uncomfortable part of the unknown, and you have to put it into this perspective, oh, was it happening because you went away, or you're in this other place. And unfortunately, I think it's an aspect of society where things happen, it doesn't make it right. And I think that was the most important thing to me, is that I could stand up for myself in that moment. And later during the festival, there was a lot of floats that happened. And there was a particular float that went by that was an all-women's float that really stood out to me in that moment after that experience, where it sort of called out the way that women can be treated there, and it questions the way women are valued. And so the centerpiece of the float was really stunning to me. It was a balance like the old scales and weight balances, and one was actually a live young woman. She was painted up. She was sitting on one side of the scale. On the other side of the scale was an oversized stack of rupees that were outweighing her worth. So there's a slight tip to it. And I don't know if I was the only person who clapped and was like, yes, thanks ladies for standing up, because that's really hard to do. I think there's probably a time where even in our society, even if that float was in the parade that I saw on Madison Avenue in New York City, that it would be a sort of stunning revelation. You know, these atrocities do happen against women all around the world.